Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the L.A.M.E Book Club podcast. My name is Melissa.
I'm Ellie.
And no, you are not having issues. We are intentionally turning our cameras off for just a second because, guys, it's our annual Halloween episode. Woohoo! And if you've been around since last Halloween, then you know we do a grand reveal. So Ellie and I do not know what each other's costumes are. We have not seen them yet. And we like our live and raw reactions to be on the interwebs. So we don't even know what we look like yet. So you guys will all learn at the same time as us. And I think it's time. Are you ready, Ellie?
I'm ready. I feel like I'm going to be underwhelming compared to what you always do, but I'm so excited.
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like maybe I'm a little underwhelming this year too, but we'll see. All right. Ready? 3,
Yes.
2, 1.
Wait, we're kind of the same again? Oh my gosh, that's horrible and so good. You're the Thumb from Spy Kids.
I'm the Thumb. What are you?
Our
my gosh, that's hilarious.
Put on your tinfoil-hat.
I love it. That is so funny.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we're not the same thing, but how did we match color schemes again?
We're just of the same mind every year. That's
it's
so
terrifying.
Crazy.
I did an outline of a nail on my cone head, but you can't see it as well in the camera as I had hoped.
I love it. I love
Thank
the
you.
Other thumbs too. That's so good. I did debate. I just don't know how I'd pull it off without like really spending a pretty penny. The guy with all the faces around his face.
Oh, the Floop or whatever, Mr.
Yeah, not Floop.
No,
but yeah.
No, but yes, the one of his creations. Yes, that. Actually, you know what? I think it would just take a lot of time. I think if you had done like air clay, like essentially what I did last year for Squidward's face, you totally could have molded it. It just would have taken a lot of time.
Okay, while we're on this topic, fun little fact for you. I found this out. Have you seen Spy Kids 3D?
Have I seen? Yes, that's the one with Elijah Wood, isn't it?
It is.
Yes, obviously.
The guy. So do you remember when they were battling as robots? Like they were on the platform and their robots matched their movements and they were fighting each other? Do you remember there being a spokesperson like, welcome, welcome, welcome?
I do not. That's a little too specific. Okay, I believe you, but...
Guess who? Glenn Powell.
No way!
Yeah, isn't that funny?
I love that. That's hilarious. This was like... this was good. I'm excited.
I can't believe we're on the internet. Red, pink, in
If anyone
cone.
doesn't know what a thumb is, though, I do fear that we are not from the same generation.
Yeah, you got to go back and watch the OG Spy Kids. All right, well, do we get going with our book club?
Sure, really quick before we do. My husband did not know what I was going to be dressing up as. And I thought about this today because like I have a kindergartner and I'm thinking like I'm going to her class later today to help with something. And I was like, you know what? I bet her teacher would not in a million years guess what I did this morning and what I looked like. And then I was like,
most people wouldn't.
I'll bet most other parents at the school did not do anything like, how am I a parent? How is this a thing? And anyways, so as I was actively thinking about that, my husband walked in the room and I was just sitting in a chair wearing my costume. And he goes, okay, and walked away.
What's the head part of the thumb made out? What is that?
It's like
Did you make
cap.
it?
No, I didn't. I bought it.
Oh, you bought it.
It's like a bald cap, like a cone head.
That's crazy.
Yeah, if you're not watching, you probably just jump on YouTube just to see real quick, and then you can go back to listening.
Well, we are switching it up just a little bit this year. We're not going to do a Halloween dedicated episode because we already posted our Crescent City outline. So today we are just going to do, we are going to do chapters 11 through 20, and it's going to be a blast. So prior to that, you want to do our housekeeping?
Yes, so if you don't already follow us on social media, we're at L.A.M E Book Club Pod across all platforms. Subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, all the things. And if you have an Apple or iOS device, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We love reading them.
Look at you.
And we also have a website. We're at lamebookclubpod.com. We have merch, stickers, and totes. The sticker that Ellie is currently dressed up as, we have those.
Check
tinfoil-hat stickers. We also have other fun ones. Jeff's Kiss. We have just a logo. We have a tote. It's fun. So check those out. And if you are a part of our Patreon, you get 15% off.
Yes. Speaking of Patreon, join it. We have 3 new members this week. Welcome to
Yay.
Rachel, Susan, and Dev. Thanks for being
Welcome.
here, guys.
What a good week to be here. Conehead.
That we just finished One Dark Window. We are going to now jump into Two Twisted Crowns. We did learn the name. And if you're part of our Patreon, you'll get bonus content. Woohoo! And we have a review of the week this week. This one might be contender for one of my all-time favorites. Karen Melissa R. Reveal yourself. I need to be friends with you, I think.
Okay, titled, I pulled the car over because I was laughing so hard I cried. Always a good start. 5 stars. I downloaded Apple Podcasts just to leave this review. Thank you. Thank you very much. I've been listening to this podcast since early of 2024 and decided it would be a disservice to not give credit where it's due this long. Recently listened to Silver Elite coverage, and after Ellie's Donald Duck impression, I was laughing so hard I had literal tears rolling down my face. So did I, quite honestly. That was terrifying.
Thank you.
I don't remember which episode in Silver Elite it was, but you have to go and just listen to them because it was shocking. My best friend doesn't live close to me anymore, and I haven't laughed that hard in months. Listening to Melissa and Ellie feels like being at a sleepover with my besties. Plus, I get to re-experience my favorite books over and over again. A win-win. It is, if you will. I feel like I'm included in their inside jokes. I even recently told my in-laws all about the ground beef in Ellie's deep freezer. I forgot about all your beef.
I didn't.
5 stars, a million Jeff's kisses. P.S. Never stop with the tangents and the Incredibles references. Oh, Karen, Melissa R., we will not. That is part of, I think, just our DNA at this point. But
yeah, I do have Bob Parr mixed into my actual DNA. Love it. Again, reveal yourself. We need to be friends.
Yes.
So we have a spoiler alert for today. If you are someone who is new here, beware. Today we are deep diving House of Earth and Blood chapters 11 through 20. While we'll only talk about these chapters in Crescent City, we are going to be looping in anything we can from the Akatar series as well as Throne of Glass, so listener beware. And without further ado, the best way to start is to start. You ready?
It is. Let's do it.
Okay. Chapter 11. When Micah arrives, he tells Jessica, oh, I don't know if we need this. When we left off, Micah was about to arrive. He's the head angel of the 33rd.
The Archangel, if you will.
Yes. The boss. When Micah arrives, he tells Jessica that he wants, aka Joe Rogan, that he wants AKA Bryce's help in investigating the murders. Pause. The way Bryce describes Micah, did you catch this?
I know.
First time
yes.
Reading, not a big deal. Second time, I'm like, how dare you, Sarah, write him as the hottest person we've ever come encounter with, and he not be literally. The MMC. Yeah.
No, honestly, same. I did not bat an eyelash the first time around. I was like, yeah, he's an angel. Probably not super surprising that he's hot. Then now doing a reread, I'm like, yeah, Sarah, you dirty, dirty girl. Why are you... I should have caught on to this the first time. Why are you twisting with making us think things that we shouldn't be... I don't know. Maybe we should be thinking it.
And we are conditioned to think this way because we were so into Tamlin. But then she says, Rhys comes into the picture. Oh, the most attractive Fae I've ever seen in my life. Most handsome High Lord I've ever seen in my life, right? So we're like, oh, we should have caught on. Now we're catching on. The way she describes Micah, and I quote, he was horrifically indecently gorgeous. Hunt and Isaiah stood behind him almost as good looking.
Almost.
And obviously he's not going to be the MMC. I'm just saying this because Hunt is so clearly being painted as the man of the hour in every chapter right now. But good golly, don't describe him so hot. Sarah, you dog.
I know. Sarah, you dog.
And then another quick tangent. we move on. Jessica is described as having pale gray eyes. As we talked before, she's a 400-year-old witch. And so that made me think, sorceress. Who else has pale gray eyes? And I went through as much as I could the descriptions of everybody in ACOTAR and Throne of Glass, and the only people that had gray eyes, Rowan was one of them. Doesn't he has like gray-green eyes though, I think, right? Or is it just gray?
Yeah, I don't remember his necessarily being like bluish gray.
Yeah. But he wasn't he didn't stand out to me
check.
as anyone with connection. Who did stand out to me as someone with possible connection, and granted, they're described as having blue-gray eyes, but it's Nesta Archeron and Feyre Archeron. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but there are rumors that they may have descended from witch lines from their mother's side. It's all unconfirmed. It's just theory. But I thought that was really interesting that if they do have witch blood in them, could Jessica be a descendant of the Archeron line somehow, some way?
And or just a relative in some capacity, because timeline-wise, nothing has necessarily... we don't know timeline-wise.
Right.
Necessarily what everything is happening. So, but we talked about this, I think, in our last episode, too, about how there's connection. Because we were talking about how Jessica, what if she's connected to the 13? And I was like, or even the Archeron sisters, because there's potential for them. So, there's that.
You know who else I'd be interested to see if she's related to? Just because the witchy, the sorcery, the healing, all that content mixed into a person. I would be interested to see if she has any tie to Nehemia from Throne of Glass, or even Irene, formerly... What was Irene's former name? Well, Irene Westfall.
It was always Irene. Irene, her first name was always Irene. It was Irene.
Yeah, but what's her last name? Her maiden.
Irene, I'm thinking. Towers?
Irene. Yeah, Towers.
Right? That feels right.
Yeah, sounds right. Okay.
Thank you.
Anyways, could be something, could be nothing. Put it on a shelf.
Yes.
So basically, Micah tells Bryce that she is the only person who can identify the demon, which might have come from any part of the underworld. So he tasks her. Yes.
That's specific.
Yeah.
You're the only one who can do this, and they could have come from anywhere. Best of luck.
Do it. Chapter 12. Although Bryce is shocked by the proposal, she wants to get to the bottom of the crimes, especially after Micah reveals the secret that Maximus, the vampire, and Danica were friends.
What? See, this is where things got really interesting for me, because from here on out, and this isn't really a spoiler at all, but for a good portion of the rest of this book, we just are learning things that we didn't know about Danica. And obviously we as the reader didn't know, but because Bryce also didn't know, and they were so close for so long, that really threw me.
Well, to be fair, it's throwing Bryce as well, because she's the same exact mind. We were so close for so long. Why didn't I know these things? I think it would hurt me depending on the friend. I honestly feel like with you, Melissa, if I found out oh, Melissa did all these side quests, I'd be like, that does not surprise me. And I never knew. She's an enigma.
That's fair. I agree though. I think it would hurt too if I had their relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
The way, because they lived together, they did everything together. They were talked about how no one understood each other. Only it's just the two of them. You know what I mean? They felt more I want to say Bryce even says this at one point, but they're soulmates, but friend soulmates.
Yeah.
So if you think about what that relationship, now I'm thinking I'm not going to say here necessarily, I don't know, soulmates feels really cringy and cheesy to say, but if I found out that my husband was doing all these things, not even necessarily bad, but just had this essentially secret life of, or a secret job that I didn't know about, or I don't know, I would be what the heck? Why wouldn't you just tell me? That's so rude.
Yeah, especially when it seems like there's no consequence to it. Why not say? Well, hopefully we'll find out. But until then, Hunt and Isaiah are assigned to help and guard Bryce. Time is of the essence since Micah is concerned about an upcoming summit to be held in Crescent City. He doesn't want to draw any negative attention from the Asteri because they might replace him as governor. To complicate matters, Sandriel and her henchman Pollux, aka the Hammer, because if it's not enough that all these cities and magical beings have two names that mean the same thing, there are also flipping call signs for most of these characters. So just prep yourself. Prepare your mind. So Sandriel and the Hammer will be staying in Crescent City for a month, which makes both Micah and Hunt nervous. More on Pollux. He is the Hind's... See, I'm fixing myself. The Hind's lover. Go. The Hind is also someone who is known as Lydia. Her name is Lydia. She's a threat.
AKA Lydia.
Yeah. She makes men shiver in their timbers. Everybody is scared of the Hind.
The timbers and timberlands.
Mm-hmm. We also get to learn a little bit about hell in this chapter. Turns out it's not just a figure of speech. Like they keep saying like, what in the seven hells, or like, he'll find his place in hell. It's an actual place here. It has 7 territories. We learn that they are the hollow, the trench, the canyon, the ravine, the chasm, the abyss, and the level that I like to cook my marshmallows to, the pit.
Oh my gosh. I was like, where are you going with this? Ew, you like your marshmallows burnt?
Not even burnt. I want them charcoaled. I want them to see the devil and come back.
I want them to see the devil. Disgusting.
It's true. I just love it. Chapter 13, after leaving the gallery, Micah has a private conversation with Hunt and Isaiah. He makes Hunt an extraordinary offer. If the fallen angel can solve the demon murders, Micah is willing to reduce Hunt's remaining kill count to 10. It was at like, what was it, like 2,291 or something? And
something
he had
like that.
Killed 40 in 4 years.
No, it was, he had killed 80 something in 4 years.
Yeah.
But still, like 10... That is like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
There is. And it's incredible. Just 10. That's 1 year's maybe worth, maybe 2. But still.
Then, now I'm sitting here, coupled with the fact that he's described as being so handsome. And last week I ranted about how there's just something skeevy about Micah. I'm like, it's just like, yeah, sure, he has this plan, but like, it's going to take him hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years to even get close to it. And who knows if he's going to uphold his end of the bargain, blah, 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 that whole thing. But now 10? Maybe, are you actually not, was I wrong to be suspicious of you, Micah? Andromedus? Was I wrong?
I don't know. He's getting painted real nice in these chapters. That's all I can say.
I know.
Well, we find out that Hunt and Rune do not, in fact, get along. The last time Hunt saw him was at this, 2, what does she call them? Alpha holes?
Yes, alpha holes.
What's your take on that? I didn't like that nickname for, like, domineering men.
At first, I cringed, but then it just kept being used, and then I found myself being like, alpha hole. I was talking to a friend last night at a group that I was at, and she was, I don't remember the context, but she was saying like, oh yeah, I don't know, he was just acting like an ASS hole. And I'm like, wait, I was like, Lori, why did you spell ass and then say hole? Why didn't you say a-hole or say it? I'm like, why did you spell ASS and then say hole? And it just struck me so funny. So I said, moving forward, I am only referring to it as ASS hole. It just was so funny to me. So that kind of gave alpha hole to me.
True. The majority of my vocabulary is I'm using something ironically and then it just sticks and now it's unironic that I'm using it. For example, lit. That was never part of my vocab. Never wanted it to be. This was a couple years ago. And then catch me saying it sometimes. How embarrassing.
And then catch me saying it.
Well, the last time Hunt saw Rune was at the spring equinox last year, and Hunt broke Rune's nose.
Oof.
So something to note here, Hunt talks to Isaiah after his offer from Micah, and Isaiah says, don't question the hand Erd dealt you. Erd. This may or may not be the first time that Erd is mentioned, but I'm going to pretend like it is because I don't remember if it was earlier. So Erd is clearly their, quote, god or higher power here. I want to tie this to Akatar, which most people would think, why not Throne of Glass? I'll get there.
Okay.
So
I was going to say, interesting, because I can tie it to a different series a little bit easier.
Right. But I thought this was so interesting. I did a dive, if you will, in this deep dive, and I thought this was so cool. The higher power in Akatar, do you remember what it's called?
The Mother.
Yes, the Mother. How does this tie in? I'll show you. Let's look at Akatar chapter 13, when Feyre is walking around the Spring Court Manors, right in the beginning.
Like literally first book, Akatar, not like the series.
Book.
Okay.
Not the series,
right.
Yeah. Sees a mural, huge mural, in the manor, and she describes it like this. It told a story with the way colors and shapes and light flowed, the way the tone shifted across the mural, the story of Prithian. It began with a cauldron, a mighty black cauldron held by glowing, slender female hands in a starry, endless night. Those hands tipped it over, golden, sparkling liquid pouring out over the lip. No, not sparkling, but effervescent, with small symbols, perhaps of some ancient fairy language. Now we know. I know. We all skipped past that.
What? We sure did, because I don't know about you guys. That was the first series I read, and chapter 13, fat chance I'm not going to remember that when I'm reading more series.
When I saw this, I was like, this is the first time I've ever read this. This is crazy.
When did she sneak this into the book after I read it?
When did she do this rewrite? So we know from our Throne of Glass deep dives that anytime the word symbol is thrown out, we can assume they are what?
Word marks.
Yes. So how does this tie back in? Word, pretty similar to Erd. We know that the word marks were in Akatar. Could they all be the same higher being, higher power that they all
just with different names?
Yeah. Coincidence? I think not.
There it is. Karen, Melissa R. There's your incredible reference for today.
Exactly. Chapter 14. So this is where we find out that Rune has led the Fae division of the Ox for the past 15 years. He is one of roughly a dozen Fae princes across the planet Midgard, but the only one who bears the power of the Starborn. Rune is summoned into a meeting with his father. The Autumn King is concerned about the upcoming summit. So we're really getting concerned from like every leader here. Just
lots of people are concerned.
Yeah. Why do it? Just cancel at this point. Everybody's upset about it.
You know what? If they're all concerned about it, I guarantee you that everyone attending is probably has their own concerns and doesn't want things to be like brought up or whatever. So you're right. At this point, like everyone just call in sick.
It's like when your professor's like, if you have a question, just ask it. I guarantee like 10 other people in the room are wondering the same thing. Yeah. If we're all concerned, let's just cancel. Nobody wants to be here. So the Autumn King fears a loss of status and wants the Fae to make a strong showing. To that end, he commands Rune to find Luna's horn, the Fae relic that was stolen from the goddess's temple shortly before Danica's murder, aka the suspected fourth item in the trove referenced in Akatar. IMO.
AKA the item that is still missing after 22 months.
Yes. Because Rune has inherited the gift of the light of the Starborn Fae, the king thinks that his son will be drawn to the horn, which I personally feel is another way of saying like calls to like.
I agree, actually. Same words, or different words, same concept.
Yes. There's, this is not part of this, but there's a exact quote, basically, of that from Tiadama and Pirates. Same words, different meaning, but all are true. Just felt like that was relevant.
There it is. It is.
So we get the full backstory, not the full backstory, we get some of the backstory of how Rune obtained the Star Sword, which he successfully retrieved it during the Fae ritual of the Ordeal. I want to pause on Ordeals for a minute. I don't remember if we talked about this much in the last episode.
We didn't.
But we're going to talk about it today. So incredible. I got lost in this a little bit. Basically, the Ordeal is like... How would you explain this? I didn't think about how I was going to explain this prior to. It's some big event, life or death. You have to show up. And in Crescent City, it contributes to the drop. And I think it's how much power you're going to receive or something like that based on how big your ordeal was, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. It's like your power scale.
Okay. So, I started looking into this because I wasn't sure if there was going to be any tie, but I was curious about how like Rune retrieving this sword from like a cave might have been similar to like the Blood Rite, and if there was any tie-in. And I don't really think there is, but then I stumbled across this Reddit thread that was very interesting. So this comes from Royal Lettuce 573 on Reddit.
My favorite.
Yes. And it says, is the ordeal for an Illyrian the Blood Rite? In CC1, Crescent City 1, we learned that the Fae go through a coming age event called an ordeal. Curious to hear everybody's thoughts on what parts of the story in ACOTAR would relate to an ordeal. And so they're like, yeah, the Blood Rite definitely fits. For Feyre, it could be Under the Mountain or even the Weaver's Cottage in Akamath. And for Nesta and Gwyn, maybe it would be their own Blood Rite. Elaine probably hasn't had hers yet. And I was just thinking this was so interesting because someone said, I don't think ACOTAR Fae necessarily have an ordeal because they don't need to do the drop. It's just a Crescent City thing, right?
Yeah.
And the person replied, I've seen it argued that they do make the drop. We've actually have no idea that none of them make the drop as it isn't mentioned. And maybe SJM hadn't even thought of it then, but the Archerons do go through something like the drop. Very interesting.
When do they go through something like the drop?
I can only think of the cauldron for Nesta and Elaine, but for Feyre specifically, right before she became Fae, she had to. Well, you know how Bryce was talking about how like they need a tether, right? Like so, Danica would be her tether to coming back up.
Yeah,
Feyre had that experience with Rhys, where he was like her tether. She pulled on that string and came back to life as Fae.
Yeah, but she died because someone killed her. It wasn't like she made the drop to give some of her energy to... It was like that. It was a necessity. It wasn't an event that she chose to do, and then Rhys was her tether. And I would argue that the cauldron isn't the drop for the Archeron, for the other two, because they were human before they went into the cauldron, and then they came out Fae. It wasn't like they were Fae, did the drop to become immortal and then survived it, and they also didn't have a tether for that. I don't know, that's just that's my thoughts on it. Like, because if someone's like, oh, they did go through similar things, I'm like, well, not really. Like, they've gone through events that might be considered an ordeal, but I wouldn't say they've been through anything similar to the drop.
Yeah, I don't know. I think someone could argue it where it'd be like, oh, that's definitely it. And the way you just said it, I'm like, yeah, it's definitely not it. So let us know what you guys think. Could you see more similarities in the drop in ACOTAR, or do you think that that's just a Crescent City thing? But I thought that was so fascinating to think about.
I do think the comparison to an ordeal and the Blood Rite is really fascinating, though. I think there's a lot more similarities to that end because it has nothing to do with like giving up of power and or achieving immorality, which is something that like in ACOTAR they already have. And then again, in Crescent City, that's not the point. So,
well, and I guess though that my thought would be, what's the point in tying it to an ordeal? Those like intense events that happened that kind of like made them, like they were pivot points in each of those characters' lives. But I guess what would be the point if there wasn't a drop for them to do? Because it would just be, it's just an event. It's just something that happened rather than this is my ordeal that contributed to the drop that gave me this power or this immortality. You know what I'm saying?
I think so. I think I maybe got lost slightly, but
that's okay. Back to Rune's ordeal. So this is where he got the legendary blade of the Starborn Fae princes. Rune knows that his father is envious that the prince possesses Starborn power and the Star Sword when the king himself does not. Also, while we're talking...
Also, wait, I want to make a parallel here really quick. Where else... We talked about this in... No, we did not talk about this in the last episode, but they talk about this in Akamath. Where else do we see this same type of dynamic? It's Tamlin's dad is jealous of Tamlin's power and envious of his son. But doesn't do anything necessarily about it. But all of Tamlin's brothers and his dad are envious of him because they know that he's more powerful and that he will take over when their dad passes away.
Okay. We need to revisit that in a second.
It's just interesting. I don't think there's necessarily any connection to it at all, but it's interesting that now in multiple series, she has different characters that have similar backstories and or different, the same like parental dynamics. That's all.
Sure. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. While we're talking about the Autumn King, in true Autumn High Lord fashion, oh brother, this guy stinks. We get some of the backstory to when Bryce met him for the first time, but basically she leaves in tears and never looks back.
Yeah.
And Rune saw that day how cold and heartless the Autumn King was. So
he
a lot of similarities. Yeah.
Sabine and the Autumn King, a match made in heaven.
Yes. But also just like similarities between how Lucian's father is described. That guy sucks eggs too. So
that's so fair.
What is it with fall that really brings out the worst in people?
Which is ironic because I would argue that it's probably the best season there is and one of arguably people's most favorites. So why is Sarah really crapping on it?
Maybe she gets bad allergies like me. This year I've decided, officially deemed, fall is not my favorite season anymore because I've not been able to breathe for nearly 3 months.
Let's not make a rash decision. 2025 fall is not your favorite. Let's wait and see if next year's the same. Then you can start saying fall is no longer your favorite. Next year could be my year. It could be.
Okay, during this meeting, the Autumn King also tasks Rune with one other little favor, please. You're going to agree to an arranged marriage with the new witch queen, Hypaxia, and you're going to produce an heir for the bloodline. It's going to be great for the program.
The casual request of any Wednesday.
Yeah. Good golly. So Rune is like, okay, maybe, sure. But he does have a little secret. He saw an oracle some time ago, and she had told him that the royal bloodline will end with him. So he's carrying that around.
I loved this juicy little tidbit that he knew but didn't tell anyone.
Right.
And just kept that to himself.
Yeah. I loved that. Okay. So, as promised, a deep dive. I want to get into it with chapter 14 and then we'll ease up for the rest. Let's talk more details into this chapter. We get an intro into Rune's mother, described with more detail than just like even Ember. Like we talked about Ember in the last chapter. She's physically described, a little bit of her backstory, but Rune's, what did I say? Last chapter?
But it's fine. Yeah. I think everyone knew. I just wanted to make it very clear.
Yeah. So Rune's mother, not given a name, but she's described with as somebody who's obeyed everyone her entire life. She's sweet and kind, but was selected by the Autumn King for purely breeding purposes. Gross. Icky. She's the daughter of a prominent noble house that defected from Avalon's court. Why? She never spoke ill of anyone, even the Autumn King, and Rune's bloodlines takes after her side with the shadows and starlight and all that.
And didn't they describe like he looked more like her too and everything?
Yeah. So now I'm going to talk about it here because I've heard rumors. And honestly, it's likely that these rumors won't fit in anywhere else because if I remember correctly, this might be one of the only areas we kind of get a description of Rune's mother. So let's break it down. Could Rune's mother be Rhysand's sister?
I've heard this one.
Yeah, and I love it. We'd again have to assume that travel between worlds includes time and space. So in this case, the theory is that Tamlin and Rhysand's sister were in love. Which
I forgot about that part of this theory.
Which is why there's a pool of starlight at the Spring Court. We all kind of glazed over that. Well, we didn't, but most of us glazed over that.
I did my first read through because I didn't know starlight was supposed to mean anything to me at that point.
Well, you're not supposed to, and
exactly.
Who's going back? Crazy people with tinfoil hats and thumbs. That's who.
Us.
So Tamlin was ordered to kill Rhysand's mother and sister, but he sent his sister through a rift or gate, which brought her to Avalon. It would fit that the house, quote unquote house that she belonged to, could have wanted to keep this secret and therefore defected. When I read that, I was like, that could make sense. That could fit the theory. Also, it fits why Rune and Rhys are so closely described. I know we just said in the last episode that Rune's eyes were blue, but later on they go on to describe that they're like a deep blue, almost violet. Similarly, Rhys's eyes are exactly that description. Blue eyes so deep they were violet, as described by Feyre. That's the exact quote.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that we need to address as part of this theory, and maybe like if you were to go into Reddit, it probably goes into this a little bit deeper, but because I've heard this too, where Tamlin is told that he killed them, but then secretly sneaks her into the pool of starlights, and he doesn't know what happens to her afterwards. But he did have to cut off her wings because they did have the wings of the mom and the sister.
Yep.
And I think he probably did that instead of like showing a body. And so my only thought then is, obviously, I mean, she could keep that hidden under clothing, but I mean, the Autumn King at some point would have seen her back. Like, I mean, at some point it would be revealed that she has these like either scars and or nubs or something. Yeah. And given the fact that she was Illyrian and that Rune favored her genetically, that's my only hiccup with this is, wouldn't he have wings?
He should have
then?
had wings. Well, but he is half the Autumn King's son. Like, he is truly the Autumn King's kid.
But then let's use Rhys as an example, because Rhys is half High Fae, half Illyrian, and he can summon wings, but he doesn't necessarily have them all the time. But it's never, I mean, for sure in what we've read so far, it is not mentioned that Rune has that same ability. And so I don't know if that is, he's the only half Illyrian, half Fae that we have in any of these series that we can compare him to. So in theory, he should be the standard. And so that is my only hiccup with this theory, is that it's either not mentioned that he can do that, which feels like a major plot hole, or he can't do that, which to me then says that this is a lovely theory, but probably not true, because if he can't and Rhys can, then that would mean he's not half Illyrian.
Now, I'm going to hold on to it, because half Illyrian or not, I'm thinking siblings are always different. My siblings and I are made of the exact same cloth, and yet we look not completely, but different enough. We have different traits. So,
yeah, but physical, different traits is a little bit different than like a genetic ability. Like, I think that feels like
even
like
more so.
Being able to.
Some of my siblings are so athletic, and some are not. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's also in real life, not in these made-up worlds where wings are a thing.
And in the made-up world, she could write it any which way she wants. I'm holding on to this one. Maybe just because I really love I just love the idea of it so much, and it could fit. It could fit more than most other theories, and so I'm holding on. I'm gonna keep it.
Anti it. I have to bring that up. I have to.
That's fair. That's due diligence. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's fair. So there's more. Back to traveling between worlds through time and space. Let's talk about that. What travels that way? If you've read any space book or watched any space movie, the answer is light.
Ooh.
And funny enough, I think me reading Project Hail Mary brought this more to my attention. The idea of, what's the theory of relativity, and just how light travels and moves. It's really interesting. So in this chapter, we see the Autumn King experimenting with Rune's Starborn light and his own prisms. Rune asks what he's trying to do, and he says, I'm studying how light moves through the world, how it can be shaped. Could this allude to star power? Like he just wants power through light? Yeah, maybe. We all know he's kind of jealous of Rune. But could it allude to travel between
100%.
Worlds? Yeah,
oh my gosh, absolutely.
I never caught this the first time, but when he was talking about that, I was like, that's so interesting. And maybe it could. Rune says, don't we have scientists over at CCU doing this? And the Autumn King replies, their interests are not the same as mine.
Oh my gosh, he's so doing that. Little Love Project Hail Mary Autumn King.
Perfect. All right, give us chapter 15.
I sure will. Bryce is annoyed that Hunt is watching her apartment from a building rooftop across the street, so she closes the drapes. Love this. Love how petty she is. He pesters her to make a list of suspects, as well as compiling Danica's actions during the last week of her life. In typical Bryce fashion, she is ignoring Hunt completely and goes to get her nails done the following morning, which infuriates the angel even further. And absolutely something I would do. So,
yes,
10 out of 10. Love the move. Speaking of which, I need to get my nails done. All right, we learn a couple of things. One sad thing and one sad but also happy thing. Lahaba was marked with an SPQM. That was the P. That was the letter I was forgetting the last episode. The SPQM.
Yep.
Which is essentially the mark of the slave people who are slaved, and they, what is it? How do you say this?
Senatus Populusque Midgard, meaning the Midgard Senate and people. So she just basically belongs to
where's the Q?
The government. Populusque. Populusque.
Love it. Yes, identifying her as a slave from birth. It's the same for all the sprites, because she's a fire sprite, due to their joined rebellion with the angels over 200 years ago. Also, Bryce brought Syrinx, the chimera, she bought Syrinx, the chimera, from Jessica after Danica died, and Jessica tried to sell him. So now he also lives with her at the penthouse.
The sprites being slaves for... Now I was going to add this in, but then I took it out, but I'm going to say it. My initial thought was them being slaves for what I can only assume is their ancestors' choices.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. It gives Hunger Games. It gives let's tell the children what their ancestors did. But I was thinking, well, Hunt lived long enough to be part of that. So what are the sprites' lifespans? Maybe it was literally them, and they're still slaves from their actions way long ago. Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, but I mean also, like, in theory, Bryce could die. Like not Bryce, Hunt. If he was killed, he could die. He just has not been and has been alive since the rebellion 200 years prior. But it is very Hunger Games coded in the sense that, like, because I mean, it even like says they're slaves from birth. Yeah. Because of
that's true,
the fact that all the sprites 200 years prior joined the angels in the rebellion, and so now it doesn't matter. Lahaba has done literally nothing. She just was born.
If that's not just the calling card of evil, being like, it is. You will pay for the sins of your ancestors. What?
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
messed up.
Chapter 16. That evening, Bryce goes to visit her brother and his two roommates / best friends, Flynn and Declan. I didn't add this, but I should. One of them, I think it's Declan, is like a super whiz at computers and hacking. Is it Flynn or Declan? Do you remember?
No, it's Declan. You're right. And Declan, hold on. I need to look up his name. Computer. Oh, okay. It's not. I was going to say, I want to say the name is the exact same, but he was giving Wade from Kim Possible for me.
He was giving Wade.
The kid who was always on the computer helping him.
Closet.
Yes. But I was for a second, I was like, oh my gosh, was his name also Declan? Was that Sarah's inspiration? And while it could absolutely have been her inspiration, his name is Wade. So not the same name.
Bummer. Well, she goes to visit them at their bachelor pad because Rune is a member of the military auxiliaries, or the Aux. She thinks that he might have some information about the Viper Queen's whereabouts on the night that Danica was killed. The two were on bad terms, making the Queen highly suspect. That's from Ratatouille. In the Shifter's murder. Rune agrees to check the official records. He agrees to check the official records. He has a hunch that his search for Luna's horn is somehow connected to Bryce's investigation. What gave it away? The fact that it was taken the same exact night?
The fact that Danica was the one supposed to be guarding it? Or the fact that this is a book? Which one, Rune? Pick your poison.
Okay.
Chapter 17. Hunt is once again furious that Bryce gave him the slip to visit her brother. I love that she just keeps messing with him, but like is able to. Like, not that, because I mean, yeah, okay, she's a half fae, half human girl who prior to this has no experience with investigations or, you know what I mean? Like, she just is like trying to live her life, trying to move on from the most traumatic thing that has ever happened to her. Right. Working at an art gallery, like basic, you know? And, but Hunt, aka the Umbra Mortis, demon killer, she keeps evading him and like messing with him and just so easily getting under his skin. It's the best. I love it. Hunt starts badgering her about completing the suspect list instead of getting her nails done. I would be like, Hunt, I've already done it. Let's move on. She coolly informs him that her manicurist was Maximus's girlfriend. Ooh, fun little, what a twist.
What a twist.
And she had told Bryce that Maximus didn't know Danica at all. So this contradicts Micah's assertion about their connection. Maybe I was right to be suspect. However, Danica and Maximus did have one mutual acquaintance, the Viper Queen, who rules the meat market quarter. Bryce sneaks out later and takes off on her scooter for the district, with Hunt flying after her.
Evaded again. Foiled again. Thoughts on the name meat market, because unless it's an actual fish, pork, steak market, don't like it.
Well, I'm not a fan because I've been to exactly what you said. I've been to Jamaica and I went to like a local meat market and it was just that. It was tons of dead animals being sold and the smell was rancid because guess what? It was not refrigerated. It was outside. So, and it was hot. So yeah, didn't love that name personally for moi because of personal experience, but I also didn't think about it too much. It's only like if you ask me, I'm gonna be like, yeah, don't love that. But then as I'm reading, I'm like, okay, this place is called the meat market. Let's just keep going.
I suppose so. Well, chapter 18, they're in the meat market. Bryce's jacket catches Hunt's eye. Embroidered across the back are the words, "Through love, all is possible." Cute. Kind of thought it was cheesy. I'm not going to lie. On my first take, I was like, all right. It's like the riddle being like, it's love. It's just kind of gave the same vibe. Yeah.
Ellie, you're in my cone head thumb brain. I was literally just about to say it was giving ACOTAR riddle for me, and I wasn't like that crazy about it.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. Well, Bryce enters the shop of a satyr and haggles with him to purchase some contraband obsidian salt. This is used for summoning demons from hell. Casual. According to the book...
You know, something you could buy in the meat market.
According to the book, hell was severed from them by time and space. It's insane to me how often Sarah has used the words time and space. Some of the trove, like I think it was the harp, lets you travel through time and space. Hell, severed from them by time and space. It's insane that Sarah uses these words so often, and yet when I say like, oh, I bet all of these worlds are happening at the same exact time, and like that's why she, or you know, whatever. People know there's clearly a difference in time, and it couldn't possibly be happening at the same time. It's so clear, you idiot.
Idiot. Oh, jinx.
Like, okay. I just want to clear my name. As I'm wearing all this, looking like this, I want to clear my name. Anyways, hell is still accessible through the twin-sealed portals at the North and South Poles. Interesting that they have that here.
I know. It's so I was waiting for Santa to be mentioned at this point.
Me too. The Northern Rift and the Southern Rift, respectively, lie at the North and South Poles. Yeah. Or by idiots who tried to summon demons through salt of varying powers. So there's a lot to get into with hell, but I fear that is not going to be in this episode because it's too much, it's too juicy, and there's a lot more that we need to learn about it before we deep dive.
I was just about to say, and it also doesn't even happen yet, so we can't get into it.
Stay tuned. After Bryce makes her purchase, the salt, she is accosted on the street by the Viper Queen herself.
I love this. Also, okay, this is like super maybe just me, but did you get... I got Amryn vibes from the Viper Queen.
I got Medusa.
Oh.
I wonder. No, I was going to say, I wonder if there's ties, but maybe not, maybe.
I think
what gives you Amryn vibes? Just personality?
It was the way she's described, like literally. I mean, she has the short hair, just like Amryn. Mm-hmm. It's the personality, the like very direct, very witty, is someone who appreciates loyalty but doesn't necessarily need others. I don't know. It's just everything about like the way she carried herself and the way she was described. It was just giving Amryn to me. But we'll get into that more as we get more from her. Mm-hmm. Because I have more specifics that I want to get into, but not yet. So, anyways, just put a pin in that, and just as we're reading along and the Viper Queen is mentioned and a part of the story, think Amryn, and then let me know what you guys are thinking too. Okay. Tell me if I'm alone in that. Tell me if I'm alone in that thought process. Yeah. But, chapter 19. The Viper Queen takes an interest in Bryce's illegal purchase, which is so Aelin Galathini is coded. But it was exactly Bryce's plan all along. She bought it to get the Viper Queen's attention this way. Mm. It was the only way to secure a quick meeting with her. However, the Queen provides solid alibis for both murders, gives the pair a flash drive documenting her movements, and advises Bryce, quote, look to where it hurts the most if she wanted to find answers. And again, just like, I feel like Amryn just knows so much stuff. And then she's like, look, it wasn't me. I have proof. Also, it sounds like she does know kind of what happened. And she's like, but I'll give you a little hinty hint. Look to where it hurts the most. And that's all I'm going to say. Goodbye. Get out of my office.
Absolutely. Also, while we're on the Viper Queen, I know she's described as having short hair, but like I said, I think it's just her name gives Medusa, which then gives Celia from Monsters, Inc. You know, Mike's girlfriend. Schmootsy Poo.
Yes. Schmoopsy Poo.
Last chapter of the day, friends. Chapter 20. The next day at work, Bryce calls Hunt to help her with a project. Because her memories of Danica's death are so painful, she is having trouble completing the report of her movements during her final week alive. I would literally hate to do this. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think I could. I just actually think I couldn't do it.
I know. I don't think I could either.
Hunt meets Bryce in the... Like, maybe anger and vengeance would drive me. Maybe it would take over the, like, grief.
Yeah, but I don't think it would be hard.
Yeah. Hunt meets Bryce in the basement of the gallery, which contains mysterious and forbidden volumes of lore. Possessing them is illegal, but he promises not to tell the authorities. Liaba, the guardian of the books, immediately develops a crush on Hunt. I thought that was so cute, how she talks to him after that, just like batting her eyes. Loved it.
I know.
And Syrinx also seems to like him. So 2 out of the 3. Bryce is the only oddball out. We get a bit of a parallel here. Hunt discovers that Bryce purchased the Chimera's freedom, ensuring that it can never be sold again. He himself was bought for 85 million gold marks. Bryce managed to negotiate... I know. High dollar signs. Bryce managed to negotiate a deal for Syrinx, but she'll be paying it off until she's 300. We already know Hunt's, paying off his debt, and he knows of debts well. And he is also 233 years old. So he and the Chimera, very, very close. Mm-hmm. By asking Bryce...
I don't think he was... Syrinx was purchased for 85 mil, but close enough.
Yeah. By asking Bryce leading questions, Hunt gets her to compile the list of Danica's activities. As they complete the project, Bryce gets a text to meet her brother at Luna's temple since there are no cameras there. And Hunt decides to tag along. A recipe for disaster.
Well, and interesting, again, to bring up the fact that there's no cameras at Luna's temple, aka the same place that Luna's horn was taken. Yeah. Why would there not be cameras if it's like such a precious artifact?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Just saying.
My tinfoil hat is on. I'm thinking a lot of things.
It's warming up. Don't put this baby in the microwave.
Yeah.
Well, that's all that we have for you guys this week. Don't forget to tune in next week. We'll be going over chapters 21 through 30. And if you're part of our Patreon, stay tuned for our bonus content. We're going to have a little Halloween party over on Patreon. You don't want to miss it. Bye, everyone.
Bye.